About 20 years ago, in the early days of Kootenay Mountain Culture magazine, my co-publisher Peter Moynes and I had the great fortune of getting to know Alan and Brenda Jury. For those of you who haven't heard their story, back in 1975, the couple started what was then called Selkirk Wilderness Skiing, which happened to be the very first cat skiing operation in the world. Before they started their business, they scoured the province for the ideal location to set up shop. That perfect confluence of terrain, snow, and access. You could only imagine, back in those days, they could pick almost anywhere. They settled on Meadow Mountain, located in the West Kootenay about an hour north of Caslow. The area is just west of Meadow Creek, which back then was a logging town with a population of barely 300 people. I remember calling Brenda on a whim to see if they would be interested in advertising in our magazine. And even though they were booked up 4 years in advance, she took out a full page in both our winter and summer issues. And she didn't want a discount. I thought that was so cool. The Juries were just the sweetest people. And over the years, not only did we get to know them, but we got to know their wonderful staff as well. They'd bring us up to take photos and sometimes just to shred. Famous for their hospitality, warmth, and of course, the epic mountains and never-ending snow, it was the family vibe the Juries had created that kept both their staff and guests coming back year after year. Our guide back then was a soft-spoken fellow named Jason Rempel. Jay was born and raised in Meadow Creek. He started working for Selkirk Wilderness as a teenager, washing dishes and helping in the shop. He worked his way up to tail guide and then to lead guide. And for a kid from Meadow Creek, you could say he'd found his dream job. And he was born for it. He had a sense for where the deepest snow was. He knew that tenure, all of that land, like the back of his hand, guiding us to secret stashes in the middle of what was already a giant secret stash. Together, we had some of the most memorable runs ever. The crazy part is Jason, as lead guide, was having that same experience with hundreds of others every winter with people from all over the world. About the same time we met and started skiing with Jay, he had started working on his own ski business idea. Like the Juries before him, he had dreams of starting his own company right from scratch. The landscape was a little more crowded than his predecessors, but with time, grit, determination, and always a smile on his face because he was skiing deep powder all the time, Jason built stellar heli skiing. The quiet kid from Meadow Creek was now the owner and lead guide of his own heli ski company. He had created his own dream job. Jason loved snow and cherished the mountains. But what he seemed to be most passionate about was sharing it with others. His knowledge and experience were deep, and he spent an unbelievable amount of time skiing epic Kootenay powder. Sadly, on March 24th, 2025, Jason Rempel passed away in an avalanche near Caslow. He was 54 years old. In the wintertime, mountains give so much to so many people. But they can take too. And sometimes, quite indiscriminately, it's the very best of us. I'm Mitchell Scott, Editor-in-Chief at Kootenay Mountain Culture Productions, and this is The Headwaters, brought to you by Columbia Basin Trust. In this episode, we're diving deep into the white fluffy stuff. The Kootenays are full of super keen skiers and snowboarders who constantly pray for one thing: loads of snow. We speak to those who make it their mission to keep you safe when you're adventuring in the wilds beyond, and you'll meet a woman who works at a ski resort and without much training, has become one of the world's best freeriders. In case you didn't know, the basin has some of the finest backcountry terrain on the planet, and more people than ever are accessing it. Today, skiers and snowboarders are flocking to the backcountry, whether it be through ski resorts, on snowmobiles, in helicopters, aboard snowcats, or just using their own 2 feet. But as we know, the mountains in wintertime can be a really dangerous place. An important way to stay safe in the backcountry is to hire a professional guide, someone who is the expert in snow conditions and safe decision making. However, most people who ski tour, myself being one, don't use a guide. Luckily, there's an ever-growing body of tools and resources available for us non-professionals. We're going to start with a road trip devoted to avalanche education. Our reporter, Jamie Moy, hit the Powder Highway this past winter to find out more about how we can educate ourselves before heading to the backcountry. Jamie, hello and welcome back to the Headwaters Podcast.
Hello, Mitch. Thank you.
So you went on a quest of sorts.
Yeah, a backcountry skiing road trip with a higher purpose. I wanted to learn about the latest resources available to help keep people safe in the backcountry.
So where'd you start?
I started in Revelstoke.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, Jamie?
It's so good to meet you in person.
Grant, really nice to meet you too.
Jamie Moy.
Come on in.
That's Grant Helgson, Mitch. He's part of the senior management team at Avalanche Canada. I met him at his office at the organization's headquarters in Revy.
Ooh, the mothership.
Yeah, I went straight to the source. More than 11,000 people a year all over Canada take one of Avalanche Canada's safety education courses. The organization is probably most well known for its comprehensive daily regional avalanche forecasts that it publishes on the website and app. These forecasts have become essential information for backcountry recreationalists and the public in general. And it's all free. It's a life-saving resource, and that's what I wanted to talk to Grant about.
Who would you say that this app is for?
I think this app is for anybody recreating in the mountains of British Columbia. We want to put information at the fingertips of our users so they can go out there and make informed decisions in the backcountry and put together meaningful trip plans to go out there in the current conditions and get home safe.
Do you think that this app can potentially reduce avalanche fatalities and accidents?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you just went out there blind without any information from a forecaster, that's gnarly. I would never do that. It feels pretty hairy when there's not an avalanche forecast. So yeah, this thing, getting that information in the hands of our users, the app is one way we do this. But yeah, it definitely reduces accidents and fatalities.
Do you think people are using this? I mean, do you guys know people are? I use it, but do you know how many people are using it? I mean, how pervasive is it in our backcountry community?
Yeah, you and about 500,000 other people. We've had 501,000 unique visitors using Avalanche Canada products this season.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, 500,000 unique visitors. That's a lot of people.
Do you use it, Mitch?
I do. It's part of my going into the backcountry checklist. I like the way they color code the map. Green, yellow, orange, red, or black. So you get a sense of the safety hazards right away.
Yeah, me too. One of my favorite features is the MIN reports.
I love the MIN reports. Why don't you go ahead and explain what that is for our listeners?
Absolutely. MIN stands for Mountain Information Network. It's a way for all of us to share observations about the snowpack in real time. And I can learn about an area that we're considering skiing in by reading others' MIN reports.
For our listeners who might not be so familiar, how easy is it for you to upload your own MIN report?
It's so easy. You just click a button in the app and it prompts you to pinpoint your location on a map. Then you answer a series of checkboxes like snow condition. Is it deep powder, hard, wet, crusty, wind affected? What the weather was like, whether you were in trees or open slopes or the alpine. And then there's a place to enter comments and upload photos.
It sounds like Avalanche Canada is on the right track with this app. What else are they planning for it?
That's the last question I asked Grant before I scooted out the door to go ski Rogers Pass.
I'm wondering what's kind of next. What's the next iteration of this?
A couple of things that we've got on our deck right now. One will be a revamp of the MIN, kind of streamlining it, making it so we can accept video from folks too, now that is so pervasive.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah, totally. And then giving people more of a dashboard of how they can interact with the MIN. Some more things too are just like ways to show weather information and how that weather kind of sits across the land, as we were looking at with the mountain weather forecasts, but weather actuals, and helping people get some patterns that can jump out in real time, so they don't have to kind of go around and click each station. They can actually just go to the dashboard and see like, oh, okay, the freezing level was here, this much snow fell as a range across here. And those are some of the projects that my team is working on right now.
Oh, that's interesting. So sort of like compiling that data across multiple weather stations and giving more of like a trend.
Yeah, exactly. And then that will help us lead into like the really big thing that we want to start working more on, which is trip planning and decision-making aids. So how can we show avalanches sort of where we think they'll be in real time on a map, and often in 3D. So how can we take the avalanche forecast and transpose it over the terrain? And then you can see kind of like where the avalanches are expected to be happening, standard trip plans, standard tracks. So getting just a better idea and better resources for actually going out there and planning those trips given the current conditions. So a little bit more of a nudge about like, here's what you can do today.
That all sounds really promising. But I think we all want to know, in the search and quest for deep powder, how was the skiing at Rogers Pass?
It was glorious. I love those big alpine views. We are so lucky to have that right here in our region.
Okay, so where'd you go next?
I headed to Fernie to catch a State of the Snowpack presentation.
My friend for the last 25 years, Matt Noseworthy.
Wait, I thought State of the Snowpack was some kind of boring snow science presentation, Jamie. That sounded more like a rock concert.
No, Mitch, not boring at all. Not a rock concert, but definitely rowdy, and held in a bar. State of the Snowpack was founded by a professional guide, a gal named Morgan Dinsdale, in Nelson in 2019. It's a free event held once a month during the winter. A local guide or avalanche forecaster or other professional gets up on stage and presents a detailed analysis of what they are seeing in the surrounding area's snowpack, like really geeks out on it. And everyone who is anyone in snow sports in town shows up and has a beer. Or 3. Mitch, think of it as a lecture with a hot professor and a party vibe.
That does sound like quite a bit of fun.
That seems to be the general consensus. State of the Snowpack has since spread to Rossland and Revelstoke, and most recently to Fernie. I attended the March 18th session in Fernie. The Central, that's the bar, was packed. Afterward, I spoke with one of the organizers, Tyler Carson, who is also the avalanche forecasting supervisor at Fernie Alpine Resort. I asked him how the community was reacting to State of the Snowpack so far.
Tyler, that was great. I can't believe how many people showed up. And industry superstars. I mean, I saw Simon Iney, the head of search and rescue, Mark Gallup, the famous snow sports photographer, Robin Siggers, who is head of ski patrol for a long time. Is this how it usually is?
Yeah, this is usually how it is. We kind of aimed at the start to really attract new to the backcountry users, but we found that a lot of the longtime locals in the community were showing up as well, and they did throughout the entire 4 sessions. So it was really nice to have them around to answer questions and sort of add to the event.
What would you say that you were hoping that this accomplishes in Fernie?
We were hoping that this was a great way to reach out to the newer backcountry user. We have a lot of seasoned backcountry users in our area, and we find that they can access the knowledge they need, get the information, make a plan, do all those sorts of important things. But a lot of newer backcountry users don't know the questions to ask, and we were hoping to reach out to them so that we could fill them in so that they would be able to ask good questions and get the answers they needed.
Would you say that there's an increase in the number of beginners entering the backcountry in Fernie and the surrounding area?
100% there is. I would say it's grown exponentially probably since just before COVID or around COVID.
All right, so Fernie has now their first season of State of the Snowpack under their belts. They've done 4 sessions, roughly 1 a month. And I'm wondering, do you think it's made a difference in the community this season?
I hope it has. I hope it's helped people access the information they need to make good and safe decisions in the backcountry. I think we've reached out to different groups of people. It was kind of representative in the show of hands we did during the last one, where we asked if people had attended multiple sessions, and a large percentage of the group hadn't. We're still reaching new people every time we have one of these.
I've got to say, Jamie, this all sounds really great. I love this informal setting of knowledge sharing between backcountry professionals, of which there are many in the basin, and local recreationalists.
I know, right? I don't think this kind of hyper-local knowledge sharing that we're doing in the Columbia Basin is happening anyplace else in North America. Hats off to Morgan Dinsdale and everyone involved with State of the Snowpack.
Okay, you've ticked off a couple of notable stops on the Powder Highway. Where are we off to next?
I finished in Nelson on a backcountry ski tour just outside of Whitewater Ski Resort with Brad Steele. He was instrumental in helping make the backcountry around here safer, and I wanted to understand how far we'd come and what still needed to be done. First, I asked him what the backcountry scene was like back in 2010 when he founded backcountryskiingcanada.com. Specifically, I asked why he started the business. What gap was he trying to fill?
Back then it started because there was no backcountry ski touring map for Whitewater Ski Resort. So I saw an opportunity as a graphic designer to get some knowledge out into people's hands to keep them safe. And being a search and rescue member for 10 years, I thought it would be a good endeavor, little side project for my other business, and created the map. And then from that, the website kind of spawned out of that because there was a need to get that information out more easily to people so they didn't have to necessarily buy the map. They could look at it online, and from there, the site just grew from that.
Geez, Jamie, that's right. It wasn't too long ago that people were literally getting lost out there, like quite regularly. Well, I guess they're still getting lost, just less lost, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I mean, not so long ago, there were no guidebooks, let alone trail forks or Gaia GPS. Brad told me that when he would go to search and rescue practice sessions at Whitewater, they didn't even have common names to refer to the various routes people would skin up or ski down in the backcountry. Today, we have that vocabulary. We call this peak Black Queen, this one White Queen, this route is West Weimer.
Just don't tell anybody about dark spruce.
Shh.
The good old days, in some respects. But hey, this is good progress, especially considering how many people are drawn to the backcountry in 2025, which just has all sorts of positive vibrations behind it.
It is good progress, Mitch. Brad thinks so too.
And I find that people are much more educated now than 15 years ago because I haven't seen anybody boot packing a skin track out of Whitewater in 5 to 8 years, whereas it was common back then. People would just hike out of bounds, and very few people had AST courses or rack courses back then they were called, and now everybody's got them. You know, the guides are super busy giving courses all year long, so everybody's, I find, much more educated, which is great.
Yeah, that is great. And it's funny too, because you just, I think, uncovered what the real motivation was for you starting all of this. It was you were just tired of people boot packing in your skin track.
Yeah, maybe partly. I just had the skill set to be able to do it, and I thought somebody's got to do this, why not me?
Right, got it. Overall, though, it sounds like we're in a much better place now than we were back then.
Yeah, it was the Wild West back then.
Interesting, Jamie. So Brad's saying we have way more information now, but that can potentially be a negative because not all sources are created equal?
Exactly. But between Avalanche Canada, the State of the Snowpack, and backcountryskiingcanada.com, I think we're pretty well set here in the Columbia Basin.
Well, it sounds like your road trip was a huge success. You confirmed that we have some fantastic resources for avalanche safety and education, and you got to ski 3 great spots on the Powder Highway. Wait, I forgot to ask you how the backcountry skiing was in Fernie.
I actually didn't ski it, Mitch. When I was in Fernie, there had been a lot of fresh snowfall, which made the snowpack unstable. The app showed red for the entire area. Too much avalanche danger for my risk tolerance. I skied the resort instead, which was beautificus.
Smart move. Nice word. Thank you, Jamie. Free riding is a significant part of winter culture here in the Kootenays. For those of you who don't know, free riding is a big mountain sport where skiers and snowboarders descend gnarly mountain terrain, catching big airs and performing tricks on natural features. Sam Cooch, my buddy, who came out of Whitewater's youth freeride team a few years ago, is currently one of the best freeride skiers on the planet, dropping sick lines in the industry's top films. The sport's most elite competition series, the Freeride World Tour, has just one venue in North America, and it's here in the Basin at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort in Golden. Kootenay kids regularly head to Kappel, Austria, representing Canada, to compete in the Freeride Junior World Championships, including my own son Mason, who competed in 2022 and came 6th, and most recently, in 2025, Nelson's Wyatt Atkins placed 5th. There's just something about the terrain, the snow, and the vibe here that breeds next-level skiing and snowboarding. The Kootenay's latest star has risen from Rossland. Erin Sauvé was the manager of Rossland's Red Mountain Resort Ski School before becoming the 2024 Freeride World Tour Women's Snowboard Champion. Jamie Moy has the story.
I met Erin Sauvé on a sunny day in March at the base area of Red Mountain Resort.
Erin?
Oh, hello.
Hey, I'm Jamie.
Nice to meet you.
It's
Awesome.
so good to meet you.
We decided to warm up on some steep blues over on the Paradise side of the resort's Granite Mountain.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Sweet, let's go.
Let's go.
Erin etched perfect turns into the groomed run with her snowboard. She set a friendly, mellow, for her pace, occasionally glancing over her shoulder to make sure I was with her. When we hit the cat track leading to the Paradise Chair, she rode just off the trail, playfully catching air wherever she could. She was a blast to follow. On the lift, we spoke about her trajectory to becoming the best female snowboarder on Earth last season. It started with the 2019 Canadian Open Freeriding Championships, a regional competition at Red, held on a black diamond run called Lynx Line.
And that was super fun. I came in second place there, and I figured that if I could come in second with like zero training, then maybe I could win with a little bit of training. So I did that the following year.
That's insane. I mean, what even made you think, I think I'm going to try this in the first place?
Oh, because Lynx Line is such a fun run to ride. You'll see it when we go up the Motherlode chair. It's right underneath the chairlift. There are huge cliffs. It's super steep. There's tons of stuff to jump off of. And it's just like the most fun run.
After competing in and winning the event the following season, Erin decided to try a comp at a different resort, just in case her back-to-back performance at Red was a fluke due to home field advantage. So she entered a regional freeride competition in Revelstoke. She won that one too. The following season, Erin stepped away from her winter job as Red's snow school manager to focus on competing. Within 2 years, she'd qualified for the Challengers, a series of 3 competitions that are the uppermost echelon of freeriding competition, the final proving ground before making it into the Freeride World Tour. Still, Erin thought it might be a fluke.
I made it into the Challengers with a little bit more effort on my part.
Nice.
Just squeaked in also, by the way. I think I was like 10th out of 10 women, or 8th out of 8 women, whatever it was at that time, who made it into the Challengers. And then I won all 3 Challengers, which was like totally surprising because I had zero aspirations for the Freeride World Tour. I didn't think that was a possibility.
Well, how did that feel?
Insane. Complete imposter syndrome. Absolutely. Had no right to be there. Like, none at all.
Okay, so what's your mindset then after that?
Oh, I was pretty terrified, but also like super excited. I was like, I should probably go to the gym.
Erin hit the gym. She was 33 years old, and it was the first time she had ever trained for snowboarding in her life. That summer and fall, she worked her usual seasonal jobs in wildland firefighting and forestry. Then, in January 2024, Erin headed to Switzerland for the first of the 6 competitions comprising the Freeride World Tour.
How did the terrain there compare to what you're used to back home at Red?
So different. So I'm a huge fan of tree skiing. It is my favorite type of shredding. And in Europe, you're skiing mostly alpine. So big open bowls, lots of rocks. So the features are quite different. The snow is different. You're a lot higher elevation most of the time. So yeah, just totally new world for me.
Did you have kind of like a favorite place or terrain or like standout experience that's just going to stick with you forever?
Quite a few, absolutely. I would say the snow in Georgia last year was unreal. So fresh, so deep, brand new terrain that the tour had never ridden on before. And so we were all kind of on an even playing field as athletes, which was really neat. And just like such a different world than ours as well, Georgia, like compared to Canada. So really cool experience over there, experiencing like different culture and different like lifestyle.
Okay, what would you say is like the one thing or the most significant thing you learned about yourself out there?
You know, I think I learned that I thoroughly enjoy pushing my limits in all aspects of life. So traveling solo near the end of the trip and just kind of chasing this free ride dream, pushing my limits in terms of like what I can mentally and physically do on the snow. It was really rewarding, and it really kind of opened my eyes up to what is possible if I do set my limits a little bit higher.
In March of 2024, back in Verbier, Switzerland, for the final competition on the Freeride World Tour, Erin won. It was her second overall victory in the series, along with 2 podium finishes. She was crowned Snowboarding World Champion and Rookie of the Year. I asked her what was next.
So I have thought about my kind of winter prospects after the Freeride World Tour, and I would love to get into the coaching side of things, possibly the admin side of things, but because freeride is recognized as like a real national sport now, and we're working towards putting it into the Olympics in 2030, I would love to be a part of that movement outside of competing. And, you know, potentially fostering, you know, some strong female snowboard athletes and making space and, you know, creating an environment where we can attract more of that, especially in the Kootenays. I know there's so much talent, and it would be so awesome to be able to harness that and really put freeride on the map for Canada, especially as an Olympic sport.
And now it's time for... It's a Tiny Town.
Welcome to Tiny Town, where we stop by those places we usually pass by. If you drive 130 kilometers north of Revelstoke, you'll find yourself at the end of Big Bend Highway, and in one of the most remote communities in the Kootenays. The settlement of Mica Creek sits in the northern Selkirk Mountains, right on the Columbia River and downstream from Kinbasket Lake, a reservoir for the Mica Dam.
So the Mica Creek Village kind of evolved from the early 60s to accommodate the workers that were coming out to work at the Mica Dam. Initially, it was, you know, some ATCO-style trailers to house some temporary workers. And then that developed into a full-blown town site by the early 70s. And I think by 1973 or 74, our peak population was around 4,000 people. And that included full families, kids, workers. By that point in time, we had a functioning hotel, restaurant. There was a school, a bank, grocery store, gas station. In about the early 70s, as the dam kind of went online, and obviously a lot of the temporary workers that were here to build the dam moved on to other projects, moved back to their hometowns.
That's Jeff Henderson, an operations manager with BC Hydro who's been working at Mica Creek for the last 4 years. Jeff lives in Vernon, and with about 70 other full-time employees, he commutes every week to work Monday to Thursday at the Mica Dam.
We still have the in-ground pool that was originally installed back in the 70s. We have a gymnasium, basketball gymnasium indoors, and a workout gym, along with some recreational facilities and the original ski chalet, because we actually had a little mini ski hill here at Mica back in the 70s and 80s. And so the ski chalet is still there. The hill is no longer in place, but the ski chalet now operates as a little once-a-week pub on Wednesday nights for the employees to come out and socialize and have a good time.
The mountains are big up here, and the snow is, well, really deep.
Yeah, so on average, we usually get around 5.5 to 6.5 meters of snow a year, which is pretty significant. And, in preparation for this podcast, I kind of did a little bit of research, and some of the records that we have in the winter of 1964-65 and 65-66, those are the two highest snow records that I have available. And it was almost 11 meters each year for those two back-to-back years. So we do get a lot of snow out here.
And that's our podcast on snow. The Headwaters is brought to you by Columbia Basin Trust. To find out more about all the good things the Trust does when it comes to supporting people and communities in the basin, go to ourtrust.org. The Headwaters is produced by Kootenai Mountain Culture Productions. A big thanks to our reporter for this episode, Jamie Moy. Tara Cunningham is our producer and story editor. Graham Tracy, our sound engineer. Vince Hempsall manages our digital media. Stacy Machowski creates all of our custom art. And Jesse Lee, our music. I'm Mitchell Scott. Thanks for listening.